Hello friends, welcome. We'll continue to learn our ttkbootstrap widgets. In that, we'll see about floodgates. This particular widget is we can display a parameter or display a value, and a progress value we can show it, but it cannot take the inputs. So like meter, what you had discussed previously, so this will only take the output it will show, but we'll try to integrate one scale with this, so user can input the value and vary the floodgauge value based on the requirement. Before we learn all this, my request is please subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon so you'll be notified all the time, and let's move to learn the script. Here is the code. We are in our Visual Studio Code, so we'll use this, and I will show you also how to download the entire source code, not only this, other parts also. So let's first run it once and see how this our scale is integrated with the floodgauge. So here it is. So you can see this, there is a floodgauge and below that there is a scale. This is also a ttkbootstrap scale. So now I can change this value of this scale, and based on the value of the scale, the floodgauge also changes. This is the way I can use the floodgauge as a input widget also. We are inside our Visual Studio Code. So the entire source code I will tell you how to download it, copy to your local system and work on it. So here it is. We are importing the libraries and the constants to use it. So there are two widgets in it. One is the floodgauge, another is the scale. We set a initial value, that variable we set it to 30, and that is what we are using as a initial value for our floodgauge. So here it is, the floodgauge, we have placed it on the row 0, the first row. So it has a initial value, we have set it here, the maximum and the length is fixed. Below that we are using a scale, it's a TTK scale also. So that also it is in the horizontal and length is 300, everything fine. But note that this update gauge, this command update gauge, this calls the function update gauge. Here it is, this above that, this is, here is our function update gauge, and this pass the current value of the scale. And here, because initially when you start up the scales, we have set it to initial value. So this is the initial value is 30 here, whatever we have set it. So that value is passed to the floodgauge as well as the scale. Now once we are updating the scale, this function is called. This function, here it is, and gets the value as an attribute or as a parameter to of the value of the scale. Now once I get the value of the scale, I am just using a float to convert it to a float. Then I am rounding up because based on what is my requirement, other whatever the round of value I want. Then I am setting the floodgate configure. This is because this floodgate has a value attribute. Now that value, instead of initial value, this once it changed, this value is configured, because this any attribute we can use configure to change the value of that. So this is the line important which updates the value attribute of the floodgauge to the value whatever is received from the scale. So it keeps on updating. Let's just run it once and see that how these two are combined. Here it is. When I am changing this particular one, I am changing this one. This function is called. This value is read, and this value is again set to the our floodgauge whatever the value is there. Visit this URL, this is there in the description. You can just scroll down and read all the details whatever is given. This is the basic part of the video also is available here. So you can scroll down how you to configure, you can see this. Then different boot styles also, how you will loop through and use. Here is the first part of it, that how the interactive, in the interactive mode you can update one. The entire source code is here. You can just select and copy the code here. This is how you have used a scale as an input to a floodgauge. But while linking these two, you have used a function. But without using a function also, we can use a common variable. So directly the common variable work with the scale and with the floodgauge. That way, seamlessly both the widgets will be integrated and synchronously will change. See this code here. Instead of using a function, I just see our initial value. I am using a int var or it can be a double var also. So if you want to display the decimal places, now I am setting it to value to 30, and this variable progress bar I am connecting it to, you can see the Floodgauge variable here, the progress bar, it is the variable attribute which is connected to the progress bar. Similarly, the scale, in the scale widget also, the variable attribute is also connected to progress bar. So once the value of the progress bar changes by any means, both the widgets will reflect the change. So if you have some other process which also changes the progress, this particular variable, so you can see the scale and the Floodgauge both also changes value because they are connected to the common variable, and there is no function which dynamically updated. That part we have eliminated here. That's all friends, hope you have a good learning experience, and if you have any doubts, suggestions, questions, use the comment section below to post it, and my request is please subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon so you'll be notified as and when we add tutorials, and we are frequently adding that also. Please share this with your friends, and thank you for watching.